Incredible colorized footage has brought the First World War to life after a painstaking project to memorialize British troops by Lord of the Rings director Peter Jackson.Grainy video of soldiers in the bloody battle has been carefully remastered and turned into color footage for the first time to mark the centenary of the conflict between 1914 and 1918. Three-time Oscar-winning Lord of the Rings filmmaker Mr. Jackson used 100-year-old footage from Imperial War Museum archives to show it in previously unseen detail. Over 4 years, the award winner edited hundreds of videos to produce the final piece, which masterfully melts black and white scenes into brightly colored clips. Jackson said, "I wanted to reach through the fog of time and pull these men into the modern world so they can regain their humanity once more, rather than be seen only as Charlie Chaplin-type figures in the vintage archive film." Slide Me. The 90-minute film is narrated with interviews from 120 veterans, from 600 clips recorded in 1964. Peter Jackson was adamant the soldiers should tell their own stories.To do that. The acclaimed New Zealand director also hired forensic lip readers to go through old silent film footage of the war and uncover the conversations that took place in the trenches and on the battlegrounds 100 years ago. There's been lots of documentaries made on the First World War. And I just decided for this one to strictly just use the voices of the guys that fought there. Jackson, director of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings series, told Reuters on Tuesday. "It's not the story of the war. It's the story of the human experience of fighting in the war." Jackson told Sky News he was inspired by a lifelong interest in the war in which his grandfather was a serving soldier in the British Army. "You didn't really notice them when they were all sped up and jerky, but suddenly they just come into a focus," he said. Jackson said he reached through the fog of time to pull soldiers' First World War stories into the modern world and revitalised archive footage to be premiered in 3D at the BFI London Film Festival. They Shall Not Grow Old will simultaneously air in cinemas across the UK in the coming weeks. The film was originally announced in January as part of a series of events announced by arts organisation 1418 Now. The premiere will be shown as the festival's documentary special presentation on October 16, when it will also be screened in both 2D and 3D in cinemas and venues across the country. Jackson will attend the premiere, which will be broadcast live, and will later attend a post-screening Q&A with film critic Mark Kermode. The film festival, held in association with American Express, kicks off on October 10 with Widows, directed by Steve McQueen and starring Viola Davis. It ends on October 21 with Laurel and Hardy film Stan And Ollie, starring Steve Coogan and John the 100th Riley, and directed by film director Jon S.